Again, back to the conference, because that's still I ended up not going, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say that, but I wanted to ask you. You did not invite Michael Lerner from Tikkun. Was that a strategic move on your part? Was that just because there was no room for him on the stage, or what was the reason?
Well, there's two things. One is the partnership organizations that we co-sponsored the conference with were all groups that have been very clear about two states, not one. We reject boycott, divestment, and sanctions. We are still a believer in that the process can work, and rather than criticizing the president and getting down on him from day one, we've been trying to push and help him to succeed. Those haven't been necessarily the positions that Tikkun as an organization has taken. So they weren't appropriate as a fit with us as a co-sponsor. And as far as speaking, we had a wonderful roster of speakers, and I feel very satisfied with the roster of speakers.
I know that there were two poets that were also kicked off the speaking.
And they came here.
The day they called, they said, "We want to come here." Exactly. So I said, "Fine, you have the stage." You spoke for the reason why they were not invited. I think there was something in the poetry that they were going to read, or the lyrics that made you uncomfortable. Right. What specifically, and would you do it again the same way, or how would you do it differently?
It's a really difficult question, and one that I imagine in this audience and in this venue and with your listeners will really resonate, which is the balance of freedom of expression in an artistic setting versus the desire to build a lobby that is politically as effective as possible. And when you try to intersect the two, you do have friction. I feel pretty strongly that the people that speak at the conference need to fit at least a general set of parameters that reflect on the organization that's sponsoring the conference. We don't have to agree with everybody. Right? We didn't agree with some of the policy positions. We invited people from the right and from the left. But to have a poet as one of the presenters who has used Holocaust imagery to describe this situation really offends so many people in the Jewish community, and I don't want to send the signal that we think that's okay. I can't remember Josh and I think Kevin.
Kevin, yeah.
Kevin and Josh.
Yeah.
I talked to both of them, and I can say in this environment, one could have a conversation about whether or not that imagery advances the cause or doesn't advance, and is it appropriate, is it not, what are the limits of art. Of course, they have the right to say it, but do they have the right to say it everywhere? And that's a conversation to have, but is it a conversation to have at our conference? And in retrospect, I don't think it is. I don't think it advances the cause of building an effective lobby. I think it's really important to have them here. And I said to them, I would actually consider co-sponsoring with you a discussion here about their poetry and about the issues, because I think this is the type of venue where it belongs. I said to Ari, about Theater J, these are the issues that come up when you talk about art and politics. But for J Street, which needs to convey a clear message about what it stands for, and to make politicians and the elected officialdom feel comfortable with us, we need to be very careful about that.
Well, there's always the struggle with art. Like Duke Ellington said, he said, art is dangerous. When it stops being dangerous, it becomes irrelevant.
Right.
So that's one of the
right.
So no more poetry at J Street
conferences. Probably not.
I think if you want to stay away from that, you probably want to, because there's always undertones, and somebody's going to interpret something differently than others.